right here on God Radio 1. Man, it's been hit maker after hit
Yes.
maker after hit maker. Well, today we got the smooth crooner. You
Yes.
know, the man that make you say, look, I wish I could be light skinned and can sing like that.
Right.
Who do we got with us? Who do we got with us today, brother?
Man, this dude came on the scene and wiped everybody out. We was like, where did this dude come from? And the song was When I'm With You.
Uh-huh.
None other than the actor extraordinaire and the singer extraordinaire, Mr. Tony Terry.
Well,
Good morning, good morning.
this is a gospel show, but hold on,
It don't matter, it's love, good
let me
music.
put this song on real low.
Good music.
Oh, right now we got with us Mr. Tony Terry. Listen to this right quick. Brother Tony, how you doing, man?
Amazing, man. Best day ever. How are you?
Man, we doing good. We doing good. We look at all the saints that's rocking in their seat right now.
Yeah, them saints don't be listening to no Precious Lord when they with their husband and
Oh,
wife. Come on,
no,
church.
they do not.
Come on, church.
No, they don't.
I just had
You know
to
how
play
we
that
know?
cut. Go ahead.
There wouldn't be so many little saints running around if there were.
Well,
Come on
speak
now.
on it, sir.
Come on,
Speak
come on.
on it.
Now, my brother, we are so honored to have you. And the way God works is you got some good news to tell everybody about some music you just put out.
Yeah, okay, let me tell you a quick story.
Yes.
I was in North Carolina. One of my brothers in North Carolina who I write and record with all the time. I was there a few months ago, maybe about 8 or 9 months ago. And I walked into the studio, and this young lady who I never met before was in there working on a song with her husband for me, potentially. And I walked in the studio, and she said, "You need to record Douglas Miller, My Soul is Anchored." And I said, "Really?" She said, yeah. She said, "It's going to change everything." Of course, I know the song. It's a classic song.
Right.
But I never thought that I would record it. The thought never occurred to me. So we started working on it. We started, coming up with what it could be. How could I make it mine? And I worked on it and kind of put it away. And a few weeks ago, my partner hit me up and said, I mixed the record and I played it for Douglas Miller, and he loved it. And I sent it to John P.T. and he thought, "Oh my God!" And I thought, "You did? You did what?"
Wow.
And so it's kind of happening. And what's really interesting about it is that my attention was in a different direction. I was focused somewhere else. I'm working on another album, right? And God is funny.
Yes.
You start making plans, and then he show you, what the real deal is, what the real plan is. Because I started thinking, all this work I'm doing on this other album that I'm working on, and this song here, means so much to so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of recorded it and walked away from it and left it. And it would be interesting if it turned out to be one of my biggest records, and I didn't really put much thought into it.
Well, let me tell you something, man. With what's going on in this world and people looking for answers and wanting to go find some kind of connection to God as we call him, and other people will call him something else. But My Soul's Been Anchored is a standard in the church community. So that was God that had your friends tell you to sing it and for you to be obedient to do it, because it is amazing, your arrangement on it.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, let me tell you this. We had the blessed opportunity to interview Douglas Miller a few weeks ago, and he was just ecstatic about the fact that you had remade it. He said that you did such a bang up job on it that he just couldn't wait to hear it. And Robert Earl Dean, you actually had the opportunity when it came out.
Tony, I sent it to him by phone.
What?
When Robin sent it to me, I sent it. Excuse me, not Robin. I'm thinking about somebody else.
You mean Denver? Uh,
When she sent
or
it
did
to
you get it from my?
yeah, when she sent it to me for us, LT who was just talking, he fixed it and converted it to where I could send it to Douglas while he's in the hospital recovering from his back surgery. And
Right, right.
he initially said when he first heard it, it broke him down before it came out. Yes, before it came out 2 days ago, he had heard it some time ago, like you said, and he said it really, really touched him. And so you never know what how you're helping someone. That's what ministry really
That's
is.
God, man. That ain't even me. That's God. That's bigger than me.
Amen.
I
Amen.
wish I wish I could take the credit for that, but to God be the glory.
Amen. Let me ask you this question. We've seen you. I almost feel like we
Mhm.
grew up with
Mhm.
you. Can you talk about when you first entered into the industry and what it was like? And can you take us on a journey from beginning to where you are now?
I was young, and I had aspirations of being a recording star,
Mhm.
and I was determined. I was laser focused. Had maybe 2 or 3 years prior from high school, and I moved to New York. And I moved to New York with. Uh, I went to the Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts in Washington D.C. And at the time, the founders of the school were still around and very much involved in, the school and different productions and different projects. Well, I became friends with he became my mentor, Mike Malone. Became one of my mentors, and when it was time for me to go on, and pursue my career, he actually came to me one day and put his hand on my shoulder and said, "You're ready. Go. You can go to New York with my blessing. You're ready."
Wow.
And I went to New York, confident that the Mike Malone told me that I was ready. And there were setbacks and made a lot of mistakes, but God had me on a path that I could not deviate from, even if I wanted to. So no matter what I did you know, that could have taken me off
Mm.
the path, somehow he put me right back on it. I could not avoid it. Uh, one night, I actually being in the Broadway show, off Broadway show, Mama, I Want to Sing for a couple of years.
Wow.
I kind of was a little bit frustrated and ready to do something else. And one of my friends invited me to go to a nightclub. And I went reluctantly because it wasn't feeling well. But it was that night that I met the gentleman who would be my producer, my manager, Ted Courier. And he gave me a card, and I held on to it. Well, I don't even know why. I held on to it for a couple of weeks. And I called him late one night, and he was overjoyed to hear from me. Like he was anticipating me. Like, what took you so long to call me?
Mhm.
And he invited me right away to come to the studio. And I went, and he was working on a project. And before I knew it, I don't even know how it happened, but I was in the studio. I was in the booth recording vocals on this project that I really just came to observe and watch what was happening. But I was in the booth recording. And then a couple of days of that, and somebody said, "Hey, Tony, come in here and sing for these people." I was like, "Okay." I was already in the studio recording, so it didn't really mean anything for me to
Mhm.
walk into a room and sing for some people. And I did, and it turns out that those people were the upper management at Capitol Records, and I sang for them on the spot, and they gave me a 7-album deal on the spot.
Wow.
Right there.
What?
Left that room with 7-album deal.
The legendary Capitol Records that Nat King Cole built. They call it the place that Nat King Cole built.
Exactly right. And what was really interesting about that was when they signed me, they wanted me to re-record, and reinvent Nat King Cole's catalog.
What?
Wow.
And I thought that was exactly my reaction. What? But it wasn't positive. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Right.
I'm trying to say though, Nat King Cole.
Right.
I mean, I'm like 21.
Right.
I didn't see the magnitude of it, and I knew who Nat King Cole was, but
Yes.
I just didn't see it. So the gentleman, the gentleman that signed me to Capitol Records, got fired, and got fired before I did anything, before I even started recording. So the nature of the music business is that it's very ego-driven.
Mm-hmm.
The person who replaces the guy who signed me didn't sign me, so was not interested in me being at the label. He was interested in signing his own act and making his own mark. I got caught up in that swirl for a couple of weeks, but the gentleman who signed me, who got fired, actually got hired at Sony, at Epic Records, and convinced Sony to buy my contract from Capitol before I ever did anything.
Wow.
I was still trying to figure out, what I'm going to do.
That was God working.
Before anything ever happened, probably about $20 million changed hands between Capitol and Sony.
Was that Larkin Arnold?
No, that was Dave. I want to say Dave Glue was his name at the time. The president of Epic Records, and that was the Mariah Carey, Tommy Mottola.
Yes.
Tommy Mottola was there.
Wow.
Because when I signed to Epic, now I'm on the label at Epic Records with Michael Jackson,
Another big
Luther Vandross,
Yes.
Gina Marie, all these huge classic artists,
Established
and
artists.
this new kid that don't nobody know and never heard of, and they're trying to figure out what to do. What are we going to do with this kid? We spent all this money on him, and now what?
They was gonna find something because they ain't gonna give you no money free.
Right. So my record came out. My first record came out. She's Fly came out, and it took off. Now I have their attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next single, Forever Yours, Never Lovey Dovey, and then it's time for the second single, and I chose With You from the second album.
Who wrote it?
And my friend Raymond Reeder from Washington,
Raymond
D.C.
Reeder that
also
sings with Richard Smallwood.
Raymond Reeder, the very Raymond Reeder that sings with Richard Smallwood.
And Yolanda Adams, background singer.
And then that sings your background for Yolanda Adams.
Yes.
Exactly right. See, I have a record with Yolanda Adams, too,
Yes, gotta have love.
Gotta have love.
Now, brother Terry, let me explain what's going on right here. We call Robert Earl Dean the Wikipedia of gospel. You can ask him anything pertaining to gospel from the beginning of gospel to now. You don't even have to Google it. Just say, call Robert Earl Dean. He'll know.
No, I love it.
Talking to Tony is just kind of triggering stuff.
So let me ask you this question.
It's great. Yeah.
And I want you to continue the story, but I also want you to infuse in that because there seems to be this church guy in you
Yes,
too.
sir.
So
Yes,
I want
sir.
you, as you tell the story, because everywhere you go, is you talking that faith. And so if you can infuse it as you take us on this journey of this epic proportion.
Something. I have learned. Oh my God, you're about to make something happen in me now. I trust God completely.
Yes. It's okay.
And there's no other way. There's no other way. And I know it because I've been in situations where I was not supposed to make it.
Yes.
I wasn't supposed to come out of that safe and whole, but I did. And I knew that it was because there was something planned for me that I wasn't even aware of what the plan was. But I knew that I was being kept.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
And like I say, won't he do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's okay. Take your time because
Take your time.
your listeners and fans, we're here for you.
Yeah, man. No, God is good, man. I give God the glory. I'm very fortunate in that my career has taken the trajectory that it's taken. That even during this COVID-19, I'm still getting calls for work
Yes.
when other people are not, and I know that even that has nothing to do with me. It's that's bigger than me. I don't know why I'm still getting calls for work when no one else is, but I recognize that that it's bigger than me.
Yes.
I recognize that. So let me keep telling the story.
Yes.
So with you, I get called by my label for a meeting, and they called me to tell me that the choice of With You was not a good one, and that I should choose another song. I should consider another song to be my single.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really interested in another song. So they released With You as a blank label, plain, because back in the day, radio was serviced with vinyl,
Mm-hmm.
and they serviced radio with a blank vinyl disc that had nothing on it, plain label. Now, to me, that would have made that particular disc stand out, which is what happened.
Wow.
They got radio gets serviced. You think at the time there was probably 30 major labels in the 80s,
Yes.
early 90s, and each of them have record, they call them LPMs, local promotions managers, who are serving radio every week, new music.
Mm-hmm.
So if 30 labels have 5 records that they're trying to get played, and there's only 1 or 2 slots available on radio to be played, to be filled. So,
yes.
You have to battle for, jockey for position. So, Epic serviced radio with a blank record, which I think made the record stand out even more. And it began to grow on its own without any support, without any promotion, without a video.
Wow.
And then one day, Anita Baker called.
I was going to hit that.
To be walking in my, I was happened to be walking in the office, in my manager's office, and the phone was ringing. There was no one. I answered it. And it was the voice on the other side was like, "Hello, this is Anita Baker, and I'm trying to find Tony Terry." And I didn't believe it.
Right.
I didn't know Anita Baker, so why would she be trying to find me?
Right.
So we talked, and the whole time I thought I was talking to someone else. I thought I was being played, and so she asked me, why haven't I seen a video for this song?
Listen to
I
this
said, well,
testimony.
I told her the story.
Listen to this testimony.
Huh?
It's crazy. Tell the listeners.
I told her that I had not, that my label didn't think it was a hit record. And she was like, those people are crazy. She said, I'm going to send you $50,000. I need you to shoot the video for it. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I'm going to call my friend Blair Underwood. I want him to direct. And I'm going to call my publicist. I want to provide my publicist services to you for 6 months. I was like, how do I pay you back? She said, don't worry about it. You just blow up. You just blow up.
Jesus.
So let's move forward. Let's fast forward 20, 25 years. Monique's show is on the air, and I had been a guest, but I found out that Miss Baker was a guest, and my mother-in-law wanted to go and see her, so we went to check her out during the middle of her performance. Now, even though she did that for me, it's not like we became friends because she lives in Detroit. I just, very, very difficult to contact. There are layers to contact her. You can't just call her number and she answers. And so I hadn't seen her in years. And I saw her. I went to see her on the Monique show. During the middle of her performance, she opened her eyes and saw me. And I saw. In her mind, I saw her light up. Her spirit lit up, like she saw me and was like, "Oh my God, that's him." And they went to commercial break, and she called Monique over, and I could clearly see that they were having a discussion about me because they were pointing at me and nodding and laughing and giggling. And then the show comes back from commercial break, and then Monique says, about how things happen. And during the commercial break, Miss Baker had told Monique about sending me $50,000 all those years ago. And she asked her, why did she do it? and she said that she was being obedient to the Spirit.
Wow.
Man,
Couldn't not do it.
I watched that. I was watching the same night.
You saw that?
I saw her point you out. Yes, she was singing, and she pointed you out. And even Monique said something about you being in the audience. I watched it.
Right.
I got chill bumps.
Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing because I couldn't have scripted that. I mean, I didn't know that was going to happen, and I just kind of thought, wow, look at God. Sometimes all you have to do is just get out of the way,
Hmm.
Hmm.
And
and
your
let Him do
label,
it.
and your label, it's funny because your label almost kind of tried to sabotage you indirectly because anybody
Yeah.
knows that when they don't support you and push you and send the marketing people out and send the press stuff out, that's what gets people knowing who you are and radio stations picking you up. They didn't do any of that for you.
No, they didn't do
But
any of
God.
that.
But God has to get the glory because they didn't do what the machine normally does, a major machine.
Right. Exactly right.
So I want to ask you, being on this epic label and all of the major artists that were on that, what was your tour schedule like when you began the tour?
Um, we were busy. We were really, really busy during that time. Record companies, I think both on the gospel side and the R&B side, spent time developing.
Hmm.
The gospel side has always been a little bit different, smaller budgets. But, I still think that, spending time, like they would teach me how to do interviews, for example.
Wow.
Then they would make me stay on the phone and call every single radio station in the country that was playing my song and say thank you.
Artist
Hmm.
development, yes.
They made me call every single record store in the country, even a mom and pop that only had one copy.
Hmm.
Call them and say thank you.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it was all about grooming and learning how to connect with your audience. Yeah, they kept me busy, but I loved it. It was what I can't even say I always dreamed about doing. I never I never dreamt about being a performer. I just always was. Does that make any sense?
Hmm.
Yes.
I just was. I mean, I grew up singing, I grew up performing, and it just seemed like the next thing that became available for me to do was the thing that God placed in front of me to do. It just was the next thing, the next level, the next thing. I didn't chase it. It always just came.
I have a question.
That's why I trust Him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dead or alive, who'd you want to collaborate with? Because You Gotta Have Love with Yolanda was epic.
Oh yeah, yeah. love,
And the,
love
and the
Yolanda.
video, and the video.
Right, with the big orange
Right.
afro that I
Right.
had. Now no one knows about this in the world, but I just did a record with John P. Key,
Wow.
and he has been somebody that I wanted to work with since forever.
No way.
And
John B. Key.
yeah, his brother plays in my band, and I see him all the time, and we always talked about working together for years and years and years, literally, and we finally did it. Just a few weeks ago, we finished the record together, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Is it on his project or yours?
It'll probably be on his project. It's called Let Me Breathe.
Oh wow.
Oh, I've heard about it, and he's having different singers, I think, um, be a part of it as well. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be something dealing with a lot of different artists.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, one of the things
yeah.
about, it's kind of like this COVID situation has brought so many people across the path. We actually had John P. Key scheduled to be our headliner at this year's Gospel Festival and it was postponed into next year. And the way Dr. Key is, he basically said, "Look, I'm in for next year. We've been talking to him, and he's just such a down to earth brother. I can't wait to hear this collab that you guys are coming up with because it seems like everybody who God has placed in our way, they're getting this year for them is becoming overflow, and
Mm-hmm.
instead of the underflow, it's the overflow year for
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people. Let me ask you this question: in your touring, and you've probably been to several countries. What was your favorite country, and what was the most exotic food that you got presented with that you didn't want to eat?
That's a good one. I've been to some amazing places. I toured for 10 years with Roberta Flack, the iconic Roberta Flack.
Yeah.
And I would sing those beautiful deep duets with her,
Oh my God.
and it was just she's such a quintessential performer and so musical, and I can't even think of a list of superlatives to adorn Roberta Flack with and her gift. But it took us to some really super exotic locations because she had fans that were would be like the oil sheik of Saudi Arabia, and he happened to like Roberta, so he would fly us over to fly us over to the Middle East in his private 747, and just stuff that you just like, stories that you hear about like you never see.
Right.
It's like it's just so amazing. But South Africa, when right when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, we were there doing the Sunsplash Jazz Festival in South Africa, where there was about 150,000 people outside. I had never played for a crowd so big. My gift has taken me to places that I've never even considered that I would even ever go. You know what I mean? Places I never even dreamt about, like I didn't even know existed.
Mm-hmm. But I want
It's been amazing.
But I want to ask about the exotic food because I remember being presented with a plate of octopus that was still moving.
Well, we were in Italy. And they prepared this amazing buffet for us, and I wanted to try some of everything because there were things that didn't look familiar, and I'll try this, I'll try that. But I noticed that there's one particular dish. I was the only one who got some out of everybody, the whole crew. And I tasted it, didn't like it, pushed it off to the side, went on with the rest of my meal. Then the waiter comes over and he said, "So, which one of you was brave enough to try the bear's brain?"
Oh, yuck.
I was like, well, I didn't try no bear's brain. And everybody was like, "Everybody know bear brain. What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Like bear brain. Bear brain. That's not black people don't eat bear brain. You know what I'm talking about? It was me.
Well, hey, it was at least you experienced something you never experienced.
Listen, I was sick for 2 days. I couldn't believe it.
Now I want to
bear brain.
I want to say everybody is listening from all over the world. Now people are starting to text me asking, could you ask them how he takes care of his voice? So we now are getting people sending us questions while we're online. So that was one of the questions that this was asked. How do you take care of your voice?
Rest, hydration. There's no miracle cure. I have one time I lost my voice completely, and I had a show. And I didn't know what to do. I was actually doing a play, a musical, The Black Nativity. And one of the doctors connected to the theater gave me prednisone, which is a steroid, which I had never taken before. He asked me, "How much do you weigh?" 190 pounds. And I think he gave me 60 milligrams of prednisone. He said, in about 2 hours, your voice is going to be wide open. You're going to be able to sing into the rafters. And you're going to be buzzing around the place because it's going to give you a lot of energy. Sure enough, about 90 minutes later, my voice comes back.
Is that what the
I'm able to
stars
do the
take?
show. Yeah, this particular doctor actually was Beyonce's doctor. And he prescribed prednisone for her when she's in dire straits, when she's lost her voice and she has to sing.
Because
This
I've
is
watched
steroids.
people.
You can't take it often. You cannot take it often, but you can take it in an emergency situation. And it woke my voice up. I had an amazing show, and then after that, it doesn't last. I lost my voice right after the show, but I was able to work. But rest and hydration. That's really the key.
I've seen numerous stars. I remember Alicia Key was getting ready to do, I think, the Grammys, and she had lost her voice and she was sick, and they called a doctor and they shot something in her arm. Is that the same thing?
That's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I have another question. How did you get into plays? You kind of alluded right into what I was going to ask.
Well, as I said, I'm a student of the Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts in Washington, D.C., and they gave us that foundation of a musical theater foundation. And my very first professional job was a musical, which was The Black Nativity, a famous piece written by one of our Black poet laureates, Langston Hughes, which is done somewhere in the world every year. Yeah, that was my first gig. So I kind of professionally started in theater for me.
So let me ask you this question, and I'm also asked the question because I watch you in plays, I hear your music, and you're like a ladies' man singer because every time you hit the stage, all we just hear is screams and holler. How do you handle that type of I don't know if it's pressure or that type of attention that you get from your female fans?
It's a part of it. It's a part of it. Now, if you had asked me that question 20 years ago in my youth, you might have had a different response.
Right.
But I'm almost 60 now, amen.
Yes,
the
thank
Lord.
God.
Won't he do it?
Because LT is
Won't he,
too.
Will?
Because
Won't
LT
he,
is
Will?
too.
Yeah. No, but it's all a part of it. I'm married, and I don't really play too much into fan hysteria because I know that that's a part of it.
Now, let's talk about your future things. What are you doing now besides just releasing My Soul's Been Anchored? What else are you working on?
I recently completed a film where I played Malcolm X from Martin, Malcolm, and Me.
Okay.
And I was really excited and humbled to play that role.
Wow.
I've been told over the years that I look like
Malcolm
X,
You do.
and I kind of saw it. But then when they got me ready and I had the glasses and the ring, and the suit, skinny tie, I was like, wow, I look like Malcolm X.
I saw a picture you posted. You do look just like him. I thought it was him until I realized it was you.
Yeah.
So they did a good job. Tell them they did a good job.
Yeah, that was a fun project, and I don't really know what's going to happen beyond COVID because it changed everything. Every I was booked through the year, and then COVID wiped the schedule out. So I just I've been training every day, trying to get to my best physical state, and I have prayer and Bible study with my family every week. Just trying to keep it going, man.
So my last question is simply this. Your fans want to know when you're coming back to the West Coast and how soon can they see you?
When am I coming back on the West Coast?
Yes.
Well, looks like nothing is happening on the West Coast until next year.
Okay.
So I can't see it happening before 2021.
Okay.
But again, I'm grateful for my fans on the West Coast, and I appreciate that people are still interested in hearing my music, and it's really humbling. And I really do wish I could take the credit, but I know that it's God's plan, and it don't have nothing to do with me. So I'm just going to say thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Right. And in closing with me, I just want to appreciate Brandy Little, who works with you. She is a great representative of you. I reached out to you, which is great, and you responded, and then you connected me to the right people. So people, he does answer his Instagrams and social media.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, yes, I appreciate you,
Yeah,
and this
I
is an
do
honor.
respond. I absolutely do.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
an honor.
Thank you, man. Thank you for reaching out, and I appreciate your interest in, having me on the show, and it's been my pleasure.
Well, can you set up this wonderful song, Anchored in the Lord, and we're going to play it next right here on GODRadio1.com.
And stay on the phone.
There it is. Well, this is my new single, My Soul is Anchored, right here on GODRadio1.com. I hope you like it.
My soul is anchored.